Hello, everyone, and welcome back. So in this video, we're going to talk about slide 2. And so in slide 2, we are taking a look at a cheetah and a gazelle. And these values are actually pretty accurate to what a cheetah can accomplish or a gazelle. A gazelle, if you're not sure, is like a deer, but it has those like really straight pointed horns, and it's in Africa typically, which makes sense if we're talking about a cheetah. So the first thing we should do is annotate. I noticed that the cheetah can run 60 feet, and that should be highlighted with the same color that feet are, which is the cyan or light blue. And then it can accomplish that in 4 seconds. So that means I'm going to highlight the 4 seconds yellow. Then I'm going to do the same thing for the gazelle, 100 feet highlighted cyan, 8 seconds highlighted yellow. And I'm going to then use those to set up the fractions. So we have the, and also the ratios. So the cheetah's ratio is 60 feet to 4 seconds. The gazelle's ratio is 100 feet to 8 seconds. I could also say for every, but it doesn't fit. And also the word to is a better one when we're talking about naming the ratio. Okay, so 60 feet and 4 seconds. You can type in the words that belong here, the feet and the seconds. I'll just put the numbers for now. And our goal is to see how fast they run. Just like in the previous example on slide 1, to figure out how fast something is going, you need to figure out what it can accomplish per whatever it is. So in this case, per second. Per second means 1 second. So I'm going to put 1 second down here and 1 second down here. And our goal then is to get each of the 2 different animals' denominators, the time, down to 1. So our C value for the first one should be 4, dividing by 4. And our C value for the second one would be 8, dividing top and bottom by 8. And now we're going to show that division on a piece of paper or a whiteboard in order to find the top numbers. So dividing 60 by 4 and dividing 100 by 8. And I'm going to show this on a whiteboard. So let's jump over here. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and set up the division now. It says in this part right here that the image must include the animal, the name of the animal. So I'm going to put cheetah first. It also must include long division for each and subtraction of the rates. And so long division would be the division of 60 divided by 4. So 60 has to go on the inside and 4 on the outside. 60 divided by 4. 4 goes into 6 one time. 1 times 4 is 4. Take away and you are left with 2, which is smaller than 4. So then I can bring down. Then I look at it as 4 going into 20 because that's what's left over in the division. So 4 into 20, that's 5 times because 5 times 4 is 20. So I rewrite the 20 and I subtract, and I am done with the division. I have a remainder of 0. So my answer right here is going to be 15. Keep that in mind so that we can then type it in later. That's also going to be our rate. We'll talk about that in a moment. All right, so let's write the other one. So gazelle, G-A-Z-E-L-L-E. And we're dividing 100 feet by 8 seconds to figure out what it can accomplish in just 1 second. So 100 divided by 8. 8 goes into 1 0 times, and we have to put that. 8 goes into 10 1 time, which is 8. So we'll take away, and we're left with 2. 2 is smaller than 8, and so I can bring down the next number, 20. 8 goes into 20 2 times, and I remember this from the previous problem because I have all the 8s from that list as well. That's 16. Take away, and 16 taken away from 20, you could regroup or you can count up. So from 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, we have to add 4. 4 is smaller than 8, and so I need to bring down the next number, but there is no next number. So I'm going to put a decimal and a 0, and then I can bring down. So this is decimal 4, And that means I'm going to have a decimal in my answer. So how many 8s get us closest to 40? That would be 5 of them. So this is 0.5. 0.5 times 8 is 4.0. It's like 40, but with a decimal. When we take away, we have nothing left over. And so this is our final answer for the gazelle, 12.50. Or another way to say that is 12 and a half. 12.5 or 12 and a half. All right, so I'll see you back on the slide. Okay. So just a reminder that you need to make sure you have your name and the long division. We'll talk about the subtraction in just a moment, but we are going to be inserting that image into the space that's here. So do you remember what the feet were for the cheetah, the division? Okay, hopefully you remembered 15. If not, you could look back. So 15 feet. And for the gazelle, 12.5 feet, 12 and a half feet. And so let's now put that here. The cheetah's rate is 15 feet for every second. So that's 15 feet per second. And for the gazelle, it is 12.5 feet per second. And the last thing says, based upon the rates that you calculated, which animal runs the fastest? So I'm going to copy and paste this here. If I look at just the whole numbers, 15 and 12, it's pretty clear that the cheetah can run faster than the gazelle. And that's because they're really good sprinters. So the cheetah is what I would put here, runs faster by blank more feet per second. You'd want to put second here, blank more feet per second than the gazelle. So the only thing I'm going to for sure type in is what we get here, because I want to make sure that it's clear what we get from that. So we want to figure out how many more feet the cheetah can accomplish or run every single second. So I'm going to go back to my whiteboard. And on your whiteboard or notebook, you can show the same calculation. I'm going to, since this is really long, I'm going to put it on the side, not underneath. That way it'll all be in a line. So let me make this smaller. Okay, so our goal again is to figure out how many more feet the cheetah can accomplish every second. And so to do that, we need to take the cheetah's number and subtract the gazelle's number. But in the gazelle's number, there's a whole number and a decimal. So I need to put the whole number underneath the whole number and the decimal underneath the empty space, which means I need to put a number on the top. 15 is the same thing as 15.0. And so I'm going to subtract the cheetah and the gazelle. And I need to make sure I show regrouping. So 0 cannot take away 5. So 0 becomes 10 by borrowing from the 5. The 5 is becoming a 4, and it gives up one of its place values to become the 10 that we add to the 0 here. And then 1 take away 1 works, 4 take away 2 works, and 10 take away 5 works. So now we can do the subtraction. This is 5, decimal, 2, and then 0. So 0, 2.5. Okay, let's go back to this slide. So 2.5 feet. Another way to say that is 2.5 feet. If you add 2.5 feet to the gazelle's rate, then you would end up with the cheetah's rate. So the cheetah can run 2.5 feet more per second than the gazelle can. All right, I hope this was helpful, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.